I'm Sean Edmison, and we're going to talk a little bit about our G.I. Joe collaborative build here at Bricks Cascade. So this build actually started kind of on a whim. My friend Patrick had built these HISS tanks and this Rattler, and we just kind of were talking like, hey, should we do a build out of it? I'm like, okay, why not? So he had already kind of built some of the troops and some of the Cobra vehicles, but we didn't really have anything for G.I. Joe. So I started kind of figuring out what kind of vehicles were iconic for that, what were the things that I played with as a kid, and started working on some of the minifigures for it. And so basically he's got these Cobra troops. You can see that, you know, all this massive blue troops Patrick had already basically built. And the Fang helicopters he'd already built. He's got some pretty cool techniques for how these go together to be so compact. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's very challenging to make something that feels like that toy scale. You know, the G.I. Joe toys, like especially the Fang and some of the Cobra things, were really, really small, kind of petite builds. And so to pack a lot of detail on them is kind of a challenge. I think his Rattler, too, is a really good kind of compromise of getting all the play features and, you know, the crazy engines on it. He actually has it where the wings can turn, too. We've got them locked in right now just for stability, but he can actually turn the wings like the old toy could do. He's got the bubble canopy for the turret. He's got Wild Weasel in there. So a lot of detail packed into that Rattler. And then our friend Ben built the Shark, which is the submersible that's flying up out of the water here. So it's a G.I. Joe submarine / plane. So we've got that. And then a lot of it was basically just building the individual troops. So we've got Jinx, and we've got, you know, basically a lot of the first and second wave of the troops. Hawk, Duke, you know, Stalker, Rock and Roll. Like, these were the guys that I played with as a kid in the 80s, and so I wanted to make sure that we had faithful representations of all these different figures. So you've got, you know, Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes battling it out there. You got Flint decking a guy just because, you know, why use the shotgun when you can deck the guy? It seemed very true to the spirit of G.I. Joe. But, you know, we've got Lady J over there, and Short Fuse, and CoverGirl's got the Wolverine. So then Doc's working on Mutt. So it was just kind of a fun thing, and we figured that the MacGuffin for this battle, like what's going on, is that basically G.I. Joe has stolen the mass device from Cobra. Cobra's trying to get it back, and somehow Firefly found his way back there, and he's about to sabotage the whole thing. So he's kind of snuck behind enemy lines there. But yeah, basically it was just a fun build. It was a way for us to kind of recreate some of that nostalgia from, you know, the toys that we played with as kids, and we figured that, you know, G.I. Joe plus Lego is kind of like, you know, peanut butter and chocolate. You know, they just go so well together. It's two great toy lines, so we couldn't resist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's perfect. If you can talk a little more detail about the minifigs, some of the accessories you guys used there, and how those came together.
Sure. For a lot of the guys, I started with standard prints from Citizen Brick, like their forest camo print, or some of the Vietnam guys. It turns out a lot of the G.I. Joe stuff was kind of Vietnam-era uniforms, Vietnam-era gear. Okay. Because if you think about a toy line that started in like 82, right, the most recent war that America had fought in was Vietnam. So I actually found that a lot of Vietnam torsos and legs worked out pretty well. In some cases, some kind of more modern torsos and modern legs. I also did cheat in a couple places, and I found some stickers online that made, like, if you look at Scarlet, like, you're not going to find that torso in a Lego print. I mean, that's just too perfect. So I used a sticker for that. Turns out we actually have a guy that can make some stickers for us, too, so we're going to take good advantage of that going forward. But a lot of these were basically just take a camo print guy, add a Brick Arms, like, suspenders or vest to it, like a PCV vest or World War II suspenders, and then throw on a modern combat helmet and give him an iconic looking gun, and all of a sudden you've got something pretty cool. And then you can, you know, customize, you know, like Stalker has a beret, or some of the guys I just left them with, you know, their own hair. Dusty, I used one of the kepi style hats, you know, the dark tan kepi, because I figured that looked pretty close to the headwear that he has. But, you know, it was just a lot of like, look at what I have, look at, you know, I looked at the file cards for the guys and just kind of compared notes, and it was a fun process to kind of kit bash all these guys.
Yeah, I think they turned out great, and the whole kind of diorama is really impressive here. I love the battle scene you guys put together, so thanks for chatting with me about it.
Yeah, thank you very much.